way down. Now let's go back to the back. Now to cut your back piece, all you need to do is to fold your material again into two, but this time around you are going to be placing your front piece on top of it, then giving it 2 inches allowance on the crotch side, because like I said earlier, the back piece of your trouser needs to be bigger than the front piece of your trouser. That is why we do not add much allowance in the front piece. We give all the allowances to the back, but for here I'm going to be adding just 2 inches allowance to the back piece of my trouser. So now if you notice at this side, I'm going to be making it equal. The extra allowance should come at this crotch side. Do not make the mistake of dragging this crotch side to be equal here and then adding the allowance at the sides. Your trouser won't come out well. It will be bending, corner to one corner. Whenever your client wears it or you wear your trouser, it will not look straight. So your allowance goes to this crotch side and not your shaping side or your hip side. All right. So from this point, from your crotch point, you're going to be taking 2 inches allowance all the way down to the full length line, and then back up to the waist line as well. 2 inches allowance is what you're adding all the way. So this is going here, 2 inches to your crotch and 2 inches all the way down. Remember, this other side remains equal, remains the same. Now however, for this waist side, you're not going to be taking 2 inches here. You're only going to be taking half an inch, or you will make it equal, because for the back, if you notice, your back goes inside very well, just above your bum. The shape of your spinal cord just above your bum and your waistline is going in, so you're not going to be taking 2 inches. If you take 2 inches here on the waistline, you're going to be having an excess whenever you wear your trouser. So for this part, I'm going to be taking it in like this. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to be taking 2 inches this way, only on the crotch line. You curve it like this. Also at this middle back of the back, I'm going to be making it 2 inches higher, because if you notice, some people when they wear trouser and then they climb a bike, by the time they sit, you see that the back side of their trouser is making a V shape, exposing their underwear. It's because this back is not high enough at the middle side. So we always make this back high at the middle side, 2 or 3 inches higher depending, but here I'm going to be making it 2 inches. So but this 2 inches is only for this middle side. I'm going to be making sure that I draw a slant line so that it will come back to the waistline and be equal with the waistline. So from there, you draw a line. Please use your ruler. I am very good when it comes to drawing of line, curves and shape with my free hand, but please use your ruler and your sewing set. All right, so here we go. Then you're going to be cutting out on the lines, both your back piece on the line. So this is how your back piece will be looking, and this is how your front piece will be looking. All right, so you want to take out your back piece from here and keep aside. We are done with it, leaving just your front piece. The next thing we're going to be doing now is to be taking our pockets, is to mark out our pocket. Now we are going to be using, there are different shapes of pockets and there are different methods of adding your pockets. There are some methods where you don't need to cut out your pockets, you just need to fold this, but I don't like that method. I like to cut out my pockets outrightly. So from this shaping line, which is our main shape here, I'm going to be taking 2 inches inwards to give our pocket width. I don't want the pocket to be too wide open, no. I want it just 2 inches. Sometimes I even take 1 inch for the wideness of our pockets from the waistline, but for here I'm going to be making it 2 inches. Then how long should your pockets be? An average pocket, depending on the shape you give to a pocket. If you look at your jeans, your jean pocket is normally not too deep in length. That is because the width here is much, and it goes something like this for your jean. Now this kind of pocket that the width is long, the length don't need to be long because the width is already long. Okay, and your hand can go in because of this much space here. But for in this case where our width of the pocket is not that wide, we're going to be making sure that it is long. If not, your hand will not be able to enter inside. So your width and your length of your pocket depends on how wide and the shape of your pocket that you want. So for here, our width is just 2 inches, which is not wide enough. So I'm going to be making up for it at our length. So our length now is going to be 6 inches. Okay, so from here, I just want a straight pocket. I don't want curve, or let me give it a little curve. So if it is a straight pocket, you just go all the way straight down here, but I'm giving it a little curve. Then at this point, I'm going to go straight, or I'm going to take my hand higher. Don't go like this, don't take it straight. When you stop at your point where you want the pocket to be, just go straight, or you take it a little bit higher, and then you cut it out. You cut out your pocket like this. Should I go straight or I go a little bit higher? Okay, so that is our pocket. And if you, in case you added allowance for that, you want to mark out your that now, your bust plan, you want to mark it out now, but we are not doing that. We are leaving the front very plain. So that is how your trouser pattern. Now I'm going to be going over to the sewing machine to show you how to sew. But before then, I'm going to mark out my pocket length, the inner pocket. I'm going to be marking out how long it should be. Now this is my crotch depth, which is 12 inches from my waist. I think it's too shallow, so I'm going to be making my trouser length to be 15 inches or 14 rather. My pocket length to be 14 inches. And how wide should my pockets be? From this side to here, I'm going to be making it 8 inches wide. That's 8 inches by 15 inches. So for our pockets, if you want to use your main material, if in case you have excess of material left and you want to use it for your pocket, then no problem, you can go ahead. That will make your work much more easier. But remember, your pocket should be, your material should be 15 inches in length. Your measurement will be different, of course, whatever you want your length of your pocket to be. And the 8 inches, make sure that it is when folded into 2. Okay, so for both pockets, you'll be needing your material on folded into 4. So if I were to be using this material, same material for my pocket, I'm going to fold it into 4. Then make sure that here gives me 8 inches, which it does, and also 15 inches in length. I'm going to be cutting out like this. But I'm not going to be using the remaining fabric to do my pocket. I'm going to be using my pocketing. So there is a process, a step you need to take if you are using your pocketing to fix your pocket. That is different from if you are using the same material as your trouser to make your pocket, which I'm going to be showing you when we go to our sewing machine. So I'm going to fold this into 4, like I said earlier, and I'm going to be making sure that here is 8 inches. It's giving me 9, no challenge. I'm going to go with that, and I'm also going to make sure that here is giving me 15 inches. So I'm just going to be cutting on a straight line this way, and also here. So now these are my 2 pockets. Now the only thing left here that I've not cut out is my waistband. I don't cut out waistband at this time until I'm done sewing my trouser, and of course my client has done her first fitting to see if everything is in place, most especially at the waist, because sometimes you end up sewing and then you have excess at the waist, or the waist is too tight, depending, you know how this thing goes most of the time. So I'm going to be doing my waistband much later when I'm done with the sewing. So the next thing I want to do now is to cut out my flap for your crush. Of course, this is going to be a trouser that has a zipper, and any trouser that has a zipper must have a flap, except you want to sew what they call is shokoto, so the one with a rope or elastic at the waistband, like in the case of your boxers and others. You don't need to make your flap, you just have to just sew around it. But this one is going to be having your flap because it has a zipper. Alright, in case you have any material like this, good for you. So to make out our first flap, what is the length of our flap? Now, how long should my zip be? If you notice, your short zipper is 8 inches in length. Normally I make sure that my zipper is 6 inches. Okay, so that means, of course, this is the pieces I cut out from my crush, so I'm still going to be using it. My flap is not going to be reaching all the way down. So if my zipper is going to be 6 inches, that means I'm going to be adding like 2 or 3 inches extra to my flap. My flap is I made it 9 inches in length, but I'm also going to be making it at this point just 3 inches wide. So I'm going to be trimming off. So this is one part of my flap, and the other side of your flap, you're going to take this also, and then you shape out. There are 2 flaps, one for the left, the other for the right hand side. That is double is going to be for the one that your zip is going to be on top of it. You're going to be sewing your zip on top of this. You can make it 2 inches. This is looking a little bit wide for me, so a little bit wide, so I'm going to be reducing it to make it 2 inches. So this is going to be where your zip is going to fall on, while this other one will go to this other side when you're sewing. All right, now if you place your trouser on your pocketing, you're going to see that this white side is showing, so you're going to be covering that part. You're going to have to cut a lot of material that will be enough to cover the whole of that part. So let's take our dimensions. Our pocket is 7 inches now, so we want to make it maybe 9 inches, and also going to be making it like 7 inches wide, so 9 by 7. I'm going to be cutting out 2 pieces for this other side, and here as well we're going to want to cover this part that will be joined to the other side too with our main material. So by the time you are working or you're checking your hand in your pocket, you won't want to see this white part of your pocket being shown.